Hi guys. Okay, so we made it through week one. Awesome. I wanted to make this video to walk you through what to expect for week two. So I apologize for the beeping in the background. Our alarm system is acting kind of funky. So sorry about that. That'll probably happen a couple of times throughout the video because I can't figure out how to turn it off. So there you go. Okay, so we are now in week two. You've submitted your getting to know you assignments. I'm really enjoying getting to know you guys. I'm going to have those graded for you next week. So thank you for getting those submitted. And now we want to take a look at week two. So we can, again, either do that from the home page where we scroll down to our weekly links, or we can do that by going to modules. So either way, I'm going to click on the active link down below because that'll take us straight to week two, which is what we want to take a look at. So a couple of things before we dive in. I week by week will be really just kind of highlighting the things that I think need to be highlighted. I am not going to post videos on lectures because I feel like that information is as available to you as it can be through the textbook. The text is extremely interactive, as you can see, with all these different videos and interactives and flashcards, and you really have access to a lot of different sources of the information that I feel like watching me go through PowerPoints is really just going to be a little overkill. So instead, I'm going to go through the things that I think you might need a little more explanation of. And namely, that's really going to be the labs each week. So a little bit later in this video, I'm going to go through our first lab, which is due next Monday, and kind of walk you through that. But first, just kind of a reminder, week two, or each week, you're going to have at the very top of the module your assignments. So if you just click on week two assignments, you're going to see, okay, this week we want to make sure that I'm reading chapters 1 and 2 of the textbook. I want to go through the PowerPoints and review all of the supplemental interactives, videos, and documents. So this number 3 is basically talking about those like flashcards, concept videos, different interactives that you get through the e-textbook. And then make sure that you complete your inquisitive assignments for chapters 1 and 2 by Sunday, the 31st. Okay, so everything you need for this week is here. We're going to go back to week 2 module. And this is the direct link to the chapter 1 in your ebook. So read through that. This is the link for the PowerPoints. Read through those. These are the interactives I was talking about for chapter 1. And then the same thing for chapter 2. So direct link to the ebook chapter 2 in your text, and the link for the PowerPoints, some flashcards for chapter 2, and then lab 1 is the main assignment. And then remember, for your inquisitive assignments, that's in course materials at the top here. Sorry, not in course materials, in week 1. So all inquisitive assignments. So to do your chapters 1 and 2 quizzes this week, you're going to click on this link. That's going to ask you to load all inquisitive assignments in a new window, and that's going to be here. This is something you should be familiar with. I went over in my last video. And oh, look, one of you's already started it. Good job. Okay, so you can take those 2 quizzes here. Due date is the 31st by 11:59. Okay, so going back to, going back to our modules. Here we go. Okay, so week 2 assignments. The real main thing here is Lab 1. And this is what I want to take a little bit of time to walk you through. So you just click on that in Module 2. There's also a direct link in that week 2 assignments page. You can access it there. And this week's lab is going to be going through the library's scholarly databases. So what we're going to be learning in this assignment is how to really make use of those journal databases. This might be review for some of you. Some of you have probably already learned how to do this. And if that's you, awesome. This is going to be a really easy assignment for you. If that's not you, then don't worry. This is going to teach you how to do what you need to do to look up scholarly journal articles. So for this class, all of your sources need to be appropriately scholarly, peer-reviewed research sources. So nothing from the internet, nothing from Wikipedia or any source that is not a justifiable academic source of research. Because when we conduct research in psychology, we do not rely on those sources at all. We rely strictly on academic sources. So this is going to be an opportunity for you guys to learn how to make use of the databases so that when it comes time to write your papers, you know exactly where to go to find your sources. Okay, so how to search for scholarly databases. So the first step is you're going to go to the IVC library website, and there's a direct link here. You can also click on the library and research help link to the left in your Canvas navigation menu. That's there the entire semester to make use of. And then you're going to click on databases A through Z. So you're going to go down to databases A through Z. So we want to click on that. And then your next step is to look for psychology. So we want to look up the psychology databases. So we just scroll down and we find that. There we go. Here are the main 8 psychology databases. This is where we're going to find information sources that are primarily focusing on psychology. Okay, then let's go back. What's our next step? Okay, so then you're going to choose a database. You can choose whichever one you want. I recommend either Psych articles or Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collection, which I think are the 2 main ones that they recommend at the top. Yeah, the best bets, because this is where you're most likely to find articles that really are psych articles, that are articles that are research done in the field of psychology. Okay, so I'm going to choose Psychology and Behavioral Science collection. And you can see that I need to log in. When you do this, you're just using your IVC username and password. It's the same login, I believe, that you use for your email. So you just log in, and you should get access to that database. And here we go. We have Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collection. So this is where you can see which database you're using as you search. Okay, so a couple of things here. When we are searching, we have a basic search option, and then we have the advanced search option. So you can type in, like it says, any words, phrases, whatever you want to search for articles based on a certain topic, and then just click search. When you do that, you can see that the database already selects full text and PDF full text for you. This is just kind of a default, but what I want you to do for the first part of this assignment is actually clear all the limiters. So let me go back and make sure I'm giving you the right instructions. Okay, so, oh, sorry, this is for the second part. This is for practicing using. Okay, so first and foremost, once you've chosen a your database, you want to go and answer these questions. What databases are available to search that are related to psychology? So that's going to be those first 8 ones that we saw. What are the differences in each of these databases? So read through the descriptions of those databases. So let's go back for just a second. So you can see, okay, these are the 8 databases that are related to psychology when we choose psychology. Read through each of these and kind of get an idea of what each of them focuses on, and give a brief explanation of what those databases are, and what the differences are. How is searching in a library database different from searching the internet? This is something I'm going to let you do some research on your own. Hopefully you've taken enough psychology classes by this point to be able to understand the significance here, why it is that we want to use an academic library database compared to just searching the internet. And then what is the difference between a scholarly article and a popular, such as a magazine article? Again, I'm going to let you do your own research there to answer that question. What is the difference between a primary and a secondary source? So primary sources are sources where we're getting information. It's kind of like getting it from the horse's mouth. Like, these are the people who conducted the research, who went out and collected the data, who did the statistical analyses and, found the information. That's a primary source. A secondary source is going to be any source that is giving you information about that primary source. It's kind of like reporting on that primary source or the research that was done in that primary source. So that's a secondary source. It's when the information is coming from somebody other than who conducted that research. Okay. Now, for your research project in this class, you're going to need at least 4 to 5 primary sources. And we'll get into more detail about that when we talk about your literature review, and then your discussion, when we, are citing sources in your paper. But be prepared to collect at least 5, I would say at least 5 solid primary sources. Okay. Number 5, what's the difference between using the basic search option and the advanced search option in the scholarly database? And the main difference here, if we go back to our search options here, we've got basic search and then we have advanced search. In basic search, we're just typing in whatever phrase we want to, and maybe clicking a couple of limiters here, and then hitting search. Okay. In advanced search, we get more options in terms of how many search terms we can put in. So for example, let's say I'm interested in depression. Okay. I can type in depression and just hit search, but I'm going to come up with a lot of stuff. Let's see what happens when I do that. Okay. 35,570 results. That's a lot of stuff to have to sift through, and I don't want to have to sift through all of that. So I'm going to use an advanced search to limit the amount of results, to get a little bit more specific with what it is I'm looking for. So let's say I'm interested in depression, and specifically the influence of school on depression. Let's say I want to see if there's a relationship between school and depression. So just adding that one search term cut my results by a third, basically, right? I went from about 30,000 to 10,000. So now let's say I want to know, okay, depression, school, and socioeconomic status. What are the relationships between those 3 factors? And I can limit it now down to 100. Okay, so I went from 30,000 search results to about 100 search results just by getting more specific in what it is that I'm looking for. And you can actually add as many of these as you want. Now, you don't want to add too many because eventually you'll get to the point where you are limiting your results and maybe missing out on something that would fit into what you're looking for. But this advanced search option is really cool in that we can get more specific. And you can also say depression and school, or you can change it to depression or school. Or let's say I want to know about depression and school, but not socioeconomic status, and see what kind of search. So see, that actually brought it up, right? To back up to 10,000. So not socioeconomic status. So these are the things, the articles that are related to depression and school, but not including socioeconomic status. So there's a lot of options I have here to limit my results, which just makes it easier to filter through. Okay, so that's our main difference between basic search and advanced search. We can also limit our time frame when these articles were published. So let's say I only want to look at articles that were published in like the past maybe 20-ish years, let's say. That's going to reduce my number from oh, it didn't really reduce it much, did it? Okay, so most of it was published in the last 20 years or so. Let's see. Let's try in the past 10-ish years. What does that do to my output? Okay, cut it in half. Okay, so I can say I only want these search terms. I want full text. I want the published date to be between these years. And then the really important one is I only want peer-reviewed articles. And you can actually do that in the basic search as well, but that's included in the advanced search. So peer-reviewed, hopefully you know what that means. But if you don't, peer-reviewed means that these are studies that have been reviewed by these authors' peers. So people who do research, who work in academia, specifically in psychological research, who are not associated with these studies, have reviewed these studies, have looked at how these researchers conducted their studies, what types of experimental designs did they do, what forms of statistical analyses did they do? How did they collect their data? Who did they collect data from? Did they do a good job of controlling for extraneous variables, stuff like that? And have basically put their stamp of approval on it, have said, yeah, you know what? They did this well. This is good research. And that gives us more confidence in what we're reading, gives us more confidence in the fact that this research was probably conducted appropriately, and so we can feel confident in what the results of those research studies are. So peer-reviewed is extremely important limiter. Okay. And then we have academic journals. We can limit it. It looks like it's already majority academic journals. And then we can also limit it by subject. We can limit it by publication, publisher, even language. We can say, you know what, I only want studies that were done in English or in Spanish. Looks like we have one in Spanish. Let's see what that one was. That sounds pretty interesting. Okay, so there you go. We can limit it by language. Pretty cool. Okay, so our advanced search option basically just gives us a lot more qualifiers that we could limit our search by, so we can get more specific in what it is we're looking for. Okay, let's go back to our lab. So those are the main differences. We kind of already touched on the whole ways that you can limit your search. And then number 7 is, so let's see, you found 5 to 10 articles that look good, but you don't have time to look through them all in depth. Oh, okay. So this is where you want to save an article. So the way we would do that is, sorry, let me go back to my results, and I'm going to take this qualifier out. So we have, where'd you go? Spanish? There we go. Okay, I'm going to take this out so we have a couple more to choose from. Okay, so what we have here is we have the PDF full text or the HTML full text. I recommend downloading the PDF full text because this is a PDF of the actual journal article and everything you need is going to be there. So I don't have time to read through this now, but I can either download the article and save it to my computer. You just click on it and it downloads as a, it opens it and then you can download it as a PDF file. You can sign in and save it to your folder. So let's go back and see. Right here, you can add it to your folder. And this should remain in here and be there whenever you sign in to the databases with your login. And or you can email it to yourself. So I honestly recommend, let's see, through share. No, sorry, that's not it. Sorry, all the databases are a little bit different from campus to campus. Okay, I honestly recommend downloading the PDF. You can download it, and then since we can read pretty easily on our tablets and computers these days, I recommend downloading it. And then you can read through the abstract when you have time to get an idea of what this article is about. Okay, let's go back to our instructions. Okay, so that's the first half of the lab. The second half of the lab is where I want you to get specific, and I'm actually trying to get you to find a certain article that I'm looking for. So I'm not going to walk you through this one because I don't want to give you the answer, but what you're going to do is you're going to use the Psychology and Behavioral Sciences Collection Database, and you're going to do an advanced search and search for journal articles on the topic of gender differences in jealousy regarding infidelity. So what you're going to do is type each of these search terms as separate subjects, okay? So going back to our databases. Okay, so we want to use the Psychology and Behavioral Science Collection Database, and then you want to do an advanced search. So you're going to click Advanced Search, and then you're going to put all of those terms in these three separate categories. So let's go back. So let's say, what terms do we want to use? Okay, so you want to do gender differences, jealousy, and infidelity. Okay, so we're going to go back here and we're going to type gender differences, and then in the next one, jealousy, and in the next one, infidelity. Okay, so first, I want you to search this with no limiters, okay? So go down here and take off the full text, and PDF is full text, and nothing is checked here, okay? Just to, again, get an idea of what happens when we have no limiters, okay? So we've got 20. That's still pretty good because we have 3 specific terms. So we have 20 articles that come up, and I want you to record that. I think I ask you to, okay, so don't set any limits at all. And tell me how many articles did you find. Okay, and then tell me the specific search terms you used and how many did you find. Now go back and edit your search to include only full text, only scholarly articles, so that's the peer-reviewed box, and then published within the last 10 years. And then tell me how many articles you found then. And now that you've limited your search to scholarly articles about gender differences and jealousy regarding infidelity published within the last 10 years, and you have this list of records, Of those records retrieved, I want you to read through the abstracts and choose the one that discusses how men become more upset by sexual aspects of infidelity compared to women. And then what you're going to do is you're going to download that article. You're going to save that article as a PDF, or you can save the first page as a JPEG file, whichever you want, and you're going to upload that with your assignment. So there are two things you have to turn in here. You're going to turn in your typed responses to all of these questions above. Okay, so all of these questions 1 through 7 here, and then question 8, A and B. Type those out and upload it as either a Word doc or a PDF file. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. And then along with that, you're going to upload the first page of that article that I'm asking you to find here. Okay, so how do we upload? So you just go to submit assignment. I'm going to jump into student view so it looks like it would look for you. Oh, darn it, it's locked. Just kidding. Okay, let me leave student view. Okay, let's see. All right, basically what you're going to have is you're going to have a submit assignment button at the top here. You guys should see that. And you click on submit assignment, and then at the bottom, it's going to give you the option somewhere in this area to upload the files. Okay, so all you have to do is click on the upload file and upload your Word or PDF file of your answers, and then also upload a second document. So you're going to choose, it's going to say choose another file. Click on that, upload the article, the first page of the article, and then you're going to go, and then you're going to click upload. Okay. You can upload the first document and hit submit assignment, and then upload the second document and hit submit assignment. It'll work that way too. But if you want both of the documents submitted together at the same time, just click that choose another file option that comes up. Okay, so I think that's it for lab 1. I hope that it answers any questions you might have, but if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, via the Q&A forum, I'm here and happy to answer any questions you have. And I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's Adam in the background. Very, very upset that I dared to lock the door on him. So I'm going to end here, and I'm going to wish you guys an awesome week 1. Reach out if you have any questions, okay? All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.